What's going on, y'all? This is Q Ortiz, your local San Diego massage therapist, musician, and artist. And today, I'm just responding to different comments on a video I posted recently. It's called From Locs to Bald, Lock Journey, Reflections, and Updates, Q Ortiz. Now, that video was older. That was a video from once I cut my locks. I cut them in the nighttime, went to work, and then recorded that video after work later on in the night, middle of the night. I think I said it was like 1 in the morning or something, but it was on my mind. I got up and recorded a video. So that's what that was. Now, it's been some time since I've cut them, and I'm in a different place. And also, regarding some of the comments here, I'll just share my experience. So the first comment I have: Q, eres guapo y fuerte, cuando te ríes la vida es buena. Muchísimas gracias por tu comentario. Agradezco tu comentario. Then the next person, nice one. Q, thanks for sharing. Teeth issues come and go in waves, but become less frequent and less intense as we progress on our MDHS path, mucusless diet healing system path. And so, briefly, I'll get into a teeth video later. I think just when I'm more, I guess I'm still working with this system that I got into and working with things, but yeah, I'm seeing progress for sure in like the strength and sensitivity and all of that. So regarding some of the problems though, I think I mentioned I had wisdom teeth like impacting the other teeth in front. So with one, how it was angled, it was going into the tooth, so the space I couldn't get into. I couldn't floss that, I couldn't brush that. It was just like very hard to access. And in that, I had a problem. It ended up from prior, I wasn't able to chew salads on this side. It was just becoming really difficult. Then further, it was just throbbing when I was sleeping, and just I couldn't sleep. Like certain points, I'll eat a certain thing and it was just boom, crazy. So yeah, I'm sure teeth stuff come and go, but with that, I needed to go check that out, because it was, personally, I just needed to figure out what was happening, and I was able to see and get understanding from that. And it was a blessing, because through checking that, I could see overall how I was caring for my mouth, and it gave me more ideas of how to move forward. Then it got me researching more and finding a system that I'm speaking about right now. And yeah, I'll talk about, I have that in my description, but I'm working on just doing the experimentation myself. And then if I go, okay, I know there's progression now, there's other things that came up that I'm now working through it and still using the system. So in finishing that, then I'll have more data for myself to then go, hey, so this is what I noticed from practicing or working with this for a year and plus or whatever. But I will say at least one thing is having the 2 toothbrushes, at least one for the day, one for the night, and keeping them away from the bathroom, keeping them away from your toilet, so it's not in an environment that's full of just bathroom stuff. Like, we could say bacteria, but just it's just not in that environment. It's not soaking up that. So allowing for them to dry. So they each get to dry for 24 hours, each brush, because you're doing it. You have a daytime brush and the nighttime brush. So they get 24 hours of dry time. That's that right now. Then, care to share what you use to moisturize your scalp, natural stuff or a certain product? Yeah, definitely natural. Like, it's been natural for many years. Like, yeah, I wasn't using products specifically, just more coconut oil, I'm not sure, jojoba or the jojoba, that oil. Then, say if you put rosemary in it, essential oil, or things of that nature, I would do things like that. Shea butter. As far as moisturizing my scalp, then when I cut my hair, I did use a product, but more like conditioner, because I, again, was working with the scalp. So just trying to invigorate the scalp, get the follicles open. Because with the locks, it was just pulling a lot, because it's weight, right? It's like pulling on the scalp. And then for me, I would rock a helmet all the time, riding a bike. So, and just, yeah, riding around. So it would just like pull. And that's where I wanted to invigorate the scalp. Just get it popping. So yeah, that's its own thing. But as far as moisturizing, I haven't been too crazy about more like specific products like that. Yeah, usually natural, just oils, as I mentioned, coconut oil or shea butter, or then I got into like the argan oil, the castor oil, that kind of, those kind of things, like Jamaican castor oil that I found, because it was talking about strengthening the hair and regrowth and all that stuff. So I was working with that. Then, out of interest, I would love to hear more on your current mucus forming item, how you reintroduced it, and how you manage frequency of consumption. Yo, Mucusless Diet Healing System practitioners is always trying to know what you eating. Yo, funny. It's cool. Yeah, it's so funny though. So that video was older. I definitely touched in with more mucus forming items, but I'd say at the time, definitely nuts with the dry fruit and nut combo. That's like a staple kind of thing, just because I find when I'm working or training or anything like that, just I think earlier in the day, it feels more lively, so to speak. It just feels lighter. It doesn't feel like I'm bogged down. That's kind of what I'm getting at when I have the dry fruit and nut combo, where a difference will be if I do a veggie meal, say earlier, it's a little more heavy and I need to push harder to do what I need to do. And I could still, once I make the push, I could get through it, but it just takes a little more effort to make the push, as opposed to the dry fruit and nut combo. So yeah, nuts for sure. But then even on this, like since then, I've tried, and even, yeah, as far as reintroduction, that was pretty consistent. There was a time, I might make a video, because I almost did that on this on the response of talking about when I did a year mucusless. It's not, I don't have wild insights or anything like that. It was just I experienced it for myself and then transitioned back. So I guess that kind of talks about reintroducing things. I guess I'll just touch in a little bit, but when basically for that year I only did like fruit juices and the veggie combo, the veggie meals, where I would just use squash with the veggie meals. It wasn't any potatoes. I didn't do any more starches. Just the squash, like kabocha squash. Then when I was reintroducing, when I was taking a step back, basically, I started to introduce coconut, like shredded coconut. I felt like that would have been a lighter thing to reintroduce than the coconut wraps that was just coconut, and I think it had coconut oil. It's just like just that. Then from there, different kind of like roots. There was like some konjac noodle. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's KONJAC, I believe. And I found one that was just that. So it wasn't a grain, it wasn't starches, it was just, it's a root. Sort of like cassava, like it was its own thing. So I started to play with that a little bit, just kind of teeter, and then tried chickpea, I think chickpea pasta or garbanzos, like garbanzo beans, then the chickpea pasta. So in that period, I started to just like experiment with what felt good for my life and my body, as in terms of how I needed to take a step back, but also with everything I was doing, just what felt good and wasn't too heavy, but just worked for me. So I did that. And then, yeah, as far as, let me see. Yeah, how I reintroduced it. That's kind of how I reintroduced it. I just did it and then would feel the effects. See, of course, looking at the elimination, if it was solid or just like nothing obstructing or nothing that seemed to complicate my life, so to speak. I would just observe that. And if even with the mucusless, I noticed the movements, if they weren't like solid, just going through fully, then that's where I was able to go, all right, well, how do I need to adjust this? What would work here? And then that's how I would experiment. Let me try this. Okay, that worked. That feels better. That looks better. Okay, I'll work with that. And then if it, regarding how you manage frequency of consumption, if the movement wasn't good, and then the effect, like what I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned I don't think I did, but I didn't mention it on this video. I was just there's certain foods, especially with mucus forming foods, where they zap your vitality. And also is when you know about stimulation, how different foods stimulate the body, you can see how you might eat something and then you feel like you just smoked or something, if you're familiar with smoking. If not, just it feels like, people might say the itis, right? You just like, well, you just want to lay back. You had a big meal, and you just laying back wanting to sleep or just be lazy and not do anything. And I find that some foods can do that. They can have you just like, oh man, like just feel that kind of buzz off of them. So if they do that, or they zap the vitality to where you wake up the next morning and you just feel out of it, that's where it can find its way out. It's like you or at least for me, like I do this food, and then and I'm noticing those things like the elimination, the vitality, the effect. Because yeah, if you're feeling lazy, it's not positive towards making things happen, doing your goals. You're just laying there. So that's where it's just something to look at. How is it affecting your overall movement, and making adjustments from there. So that's how I've managed frequency, just kind of keeping tabs on those elements. The elimination, how it affects my overall movement, and then the vitality aspect. Is it just zapping my vitality to where I eat this food and then now the next day or later my throat is dry or hurting, or just weird stuff like that. It helps to regulate itself in that regard, and I just feel out what's worth what. Let me see. Yeah. That's now, and even during that time, yeah, I've tried I mentioned the chickpea pasta. I've tried rice. I hadn't eaten rice in years, but just wanted to try it, because when I stopped eating rice, it was based off of what people were saying. It wasn't based off of my physiology. So that's where I decided for myself, I wanted to see, okay, I haven't tried it. Let me see how it affects me right now. How would it affect my life, my movements, just everything. And that's the process of experimenting with different items and seeing what works. So that's what I did. That, rice noodles. Let me see. Yeah, different things. Then more recent, I think I wrote it, or I made a video when I talked about eating more salads. It was using the hummus. So now I'll use hummus, mix it with salad, put it on a seaweed wrap, and just boom, eat a few of those, eat a good amount. Or if I have steamed veggie, throw that up in there. If I have, recently I had the squash, so I would break pieces of the squash, put it on there. Then I did a puree of the squash, had kabocha squash, baked it, threw it in the food processor with some water, and got it to a nice consistency to where I could spread that onto the seaweed. Boom, made some wraps with that, with the salad. So that's where I'm at right now, just touching in with different things, but more so the dry fruit and nut combo, that's like more consistent. And then the hummus comes and goes. Sometimes I'll use it, other times I don't. I'm trying to be more with the homemade hummus so that I'm not eating like more salt or whatever they put in it. They might put some weird oils and different things, but there's certain hummus that has olive oil and not canola or safflower or sunflower, or just all those kind of things. And that's where I'm at with that. So thank you for asking about. I know, mucusless diet. So like, what you eating, what items. Then care to share what you use to moisturize your scalp, natural stuff or certain product. As far as moisturizing, it's always been natural. I haven't really used synthetic or just artificial, especially with moisturizing. That's, for me, it's been more like the coconut oil or the jojoba oil. I got into argan oil more recently, not right now, but just more recent than that. And the castor oil, like Jamaican castor oil, because it's for regrowth and stimulating the hair growth, stimulating growth in the scalp. And with the locks, it was a lot of pull, just, yeah, a lot of tension. And then with the helmet I would wear, it would just kind of like pull. It's just a lot of pulling. So I would use that, but nothing specific. Like right now I have a product, but it's natural. It's just natural mix of oils, mix of herbs, and then shea butter. So I use shea butter. I keep it simple, and I'm not recommending also. It's just that's how I've operated. Just try to keep things simple. I don't have 1,000 products for everything. I just try to keep it one product. All right, shea butter, boom, or whatever. Though it's coconut oil, done. Yeah, no complications with that. Yeah, so I think I addressed that. Let me know if I missed anything in that particular response, but yeah, I think I got that. And then, all right, last one. Change is good, Q, and looking good, thank you. But think you need some facial hair. So how about trying a slimline mustache? That would look good with the shaved head. Yo, funny. Yeah, I wonder why you think I need some facial hair. That's a funny, cause yeah, I think it's personal. I think the whole journey is personal, and that's more the point. I think it's your own journey. So as you can see, I didn't completely keep the bald after a while, and I'll just share this while I'm here. I know this video is probably a little longer. I did think about making a separate video on, all right, what do I do with my hair now, or like but I'll just answer your question here. So what I noticed with when I shaved everything, initially the idea seems like, oh, that's super minimalist, right? Especially if you're with that thought of just not focusing so much, like this is its own thing. You shave, but then you have work to do. Whether you are working or you're creating or whatever you do, it's like that's the main thing. It's not your shaving. So I don't want to spend that much time on that personally. That's just not. And even the locks, they had their own maintenance too, just with when to wet your hair, because if you wet it too late, now you're sleeping with wet hair. Or for me, I have a helmet, so I'm washing my hair, but then I need to get it dry to then wear the helmet, or I'm wearing the helmet with it wet, or I can't tie it because it's wet. It's like all these different factors. That's just a few, but just I'm giving you an idea of the maintenance of the experience with it. And then with the bald, it seems like, oh, like you just face, just get it all off. But what I realized personally for myself is that I could shave, and yeah, that was cool. I used the clippers, boom. But then starting to get like razor bumps when the hair is growing back in, because my hair is very coarse. So that's starting to happen. That's starting to happen on the face. Not the first time, but more those following times. It started to come like more bumps and irritation, and just. And I remember going through that before, briefly with the face with the razor, many like childhood years, junior high, and I didn't use a razor after that. I was more using the clippers. So in that process though, I noticed you needed to have more product. If you look at these bald videos, people bald and they're shaving, you see all these products. They're rarely just like, oh yeah, just shaving cream and then just boo. They're like, all right, get the steam towel and then get the forget this certain block. I forget the block right now, but there's a alum alum block. Then shave with the single edge or the triple, like all these different videos. It's just like products. Then with the razor bumps, I ended up getting a product just to help with that, because I was like, what is going on? So that's where, yeah, what you're saying, at least with the like the slimline mustache, even that, if I cut the top, if I just like cut the top part, then I would have to deal with the growth up top. So if I'm getting bumps there, or then needing to use product every time, just like so bumps don't come there, it's just not the experience that I was looking for, especially when I'm talking about being more minimal with the time and the care in that way. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing. But yeah, regarding, and maybe later on I'll see what manifests, but in this time it's more what I've noticed is how I'm dealing with it now is just trimming it, not all the way, but I'll have a set of clippers that I could just put the guard on to the very bottom. And this is just this is a length that I found. I said, oh, boom, this is I'm good with this. So have the guard there at the bottom, just go different ways all over. Then I have for the face, a shaver that also it has two settings, basically like two guards, and I'll use the higher one. Boom, just go across everything so that it trims it keeps everything low, but it doesn't give you the effect of the hair coming out through the skin and curling, if you get that. And that's good with me. I could trim it, boom, then develop the routine, trim, clean the bathroom. It's just smooth flow for me, and it doesn't require product. It doesn't cause a whole bunch of chaos happening, and that's just what works for me in the moment. Works for me right now, and I've been rocking this for a good minute, so it's been working just in that way. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Yeah, again, maybe in the future, if circumstances change, then I go, oh man, all right, let me grow it like this or that. But in the moment, this works with everything I'm doing. Is very low maintenance. As I mentioned, the Locs have their own maintenance, and bald has their own maintenance. So this is like a middle path for me. It's a middle way. Also with the bald, when you can't really miss a spot. So with that is really, you gotta be more diligent, just making sure you don't miss any spots, because that'll stick out all the way. Then with the baldy, regarding the sun, you could burn your head. And I know people talk about with the mucusless diet, It's like whether it be acids in the diet that for getting sunburn and all that, but just your head out there in that sun, boom, it could just burn the back of your head. You'd be like, yo, why is my head hurting right now? Like, what is the... And that's its own thing. Now you're looking at more hats, rocking skull caps, rocking beanies. It's its own lifestyle. It has its own thing. Just like with the Locs, it might be, all right, wraps, scarves, whatever you have. Or if you rocking it just out there, something to think about is your environment. So if you're walking around in the city, just think about all the pollution, all the car exhaust, or just whatever being sucked up into your hair, and then having to wash it, and just that constant process. So yeah, just it's different things to think about, different things to reflect on. I'm not here to say do this or that. I have my own process, my own experience, my own thoughts, and am living in that way, just living for myself in that regard. So if that's something that is on your mind, then yeah, like just reflect, really tap into regarding all these things, like the teeth issues, like what I decided to do with the moisturizing of scalp, the products, is just what I do. And then with the mucus forming items, why I chose to eat certain foods, and just how I look at it. And then also as far as like the facial hair, or how I decide to wear my hair, or just be, is through my reflection and through my experience, and that's what you're seeing. So I appreciate the comments. I appreciate y'all watching and viewing, and if you got this far, definitely I appreciate you listening and just being interested in this kind of talk, because it's not everyone's not. So I appreciate you that do. All right, well, if you like this video, click like. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. And if you want to continue on this journey with me, click subscribe, and we can vibe. Peace out.